Hello, my name is Ishmael McKinney, and I want to thank you for watching this video. I'll be covering Stage 1 of the UBD Understanding by Design Method and Template by Grant Wiggins and Jay McTeague. The UBD method and template, or the Understanding by Design method and template, is a backwards way of designing your units and lessons for your students. It really allows you to sit down and really look at what it is you want your students to know, take from the lessons, and ultimately how the assignment is going to benefit the student. The ultimate goal of UBD Stage 1 is to identify what it is you want your students to understand from the lesson. While there are going to be different pieces of knowledge and skills they're going to learn along the way, the big idea of your lesson has to be exactly what the knowledge and those skills are going to be applied to in the future. With the focus of Stage 1 being on the anticipated results of the unit, this stage is going to develop and outline the requirements for learning transfer, which is the ability to take what's learned and use that skill or knowledge in another situation. With the UBD being the first steps into designing your lesson, the first part of Stage 1 is where you're going to include information about the course and the unit and how it's actually designed. So you're going to include information like the subject and the discipline, the class number and name, the grade level, where you're going to teach it, whether it's a public school, private school, charter school, or you could be doing it possibly for a job. You're also going to give information on the unit title, how it's going to be delivered, whether face-to-face, online, or sort of blended method. And then lastly, you're going to end it with why you're developing the course and your level of expertise, or what it is about the course that makes you credible. This is probably the most important part of your UBD template. This is where you're really going to start to have your unit start to take shape. You're going to start with your unit overview. Just going to describe your unit in very plain, very simple, understandable words. From there, you're going to go down and list the different professional organizations that you're going to take your content from as far as the competencies and the standards. Typically, it's going to be, for example, me, a high school teacher. I would go with the Ohio Department of Education, put the URL for the Department of Education. From there on the website, it's going to take me through a different link that's going to actually give me that list of the competencies and standards and requirement for the different courses. So I will also list that link here as well. Down here, you're going to start to list your 3 to 5 different standards and competencies. You're going to make sure that you take the code from the website. If it doesn't have a specific code on the actual website with the resource that lists the competencies, you're going to create one yourself. Just make sure that you tend to keep it uniform throughout the rest of the document. It's going to be a few different areas that call for it. Down here below, you're going to go ahead and enter your different transfer keys. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. It's going to be the things that you want your students to be independently able to do with the knowledge and the skills that they obtain from this unit. An important thing to remember from this section and going forward, I'm going to make sure I've repeated as well, is to enter the same competency codes here. You get these same codes from the previous part where you listed the standards and competencies, so you want to make sure you keep those codes uniform. There are going to be some times where the different transfer techniques might apply to 1 or 2 of your different competency codes. So you're going to go ahead and list those both here in the box. Just make sure you separate them with a comma so they don't get really confused. Here in the meaning section, you're going to find 2 important parts: the essential questions and the understandings. Your essential questions are going to be a list of questions that you create that really force your students to start critical thinking. It's going to be the very early stages of transfer. Here you're going to list about 5 questions that all still relate to these same competency codes listed earlier. Just make sure that you actually create questions that they aren't able to just simply give an answer to. Here in the understanding section, you're going to create a list of statements still related to these same competency codes. These statements are typically going to start in the form of students will be able to understand that. With these statements, it's going to be inferences that you want your students to be able to start to make based on the knowledge given to them. Again, it's really focusing on the transfer aspect of your students' understanding. This is really where you can really see how well your students are mastering the different knowledge. Here's the acquisition area of the Stage 1 document. I talked a lot about the knowledge and the skills that you expect your students to obtain from the lesson. This here is where you actually draw out exactly what knowledge and skills you want them to possess. So here, again, relating to the competency code, you're going to create a list of statements students will know. That's whatever simple facts or basic ideas that you want students to be able to recall. Remember, that's different from understanding. It's just them being able to recall. Their true understanding is going to come from them being able to take that knowledge and apply it to different situations. Another way of showing true understanding is here in the skills section. Again, related to the same competency codes, you're going to create a list of statements students will be skilled at. Here you'll list the different skills that they're acquired that will truly show their understanding of the different knowledge that they've gained from the lesson. My name is Ishmael McKinney. I want to thank you for checking out my video on stage 1 of the UBD template. Here's the book for the template, The Understanding by Design Guide to Creating High Quality Units by Grant Wiggins and Jay McTeague. Feel free to check out the book if you want to get any more tips on how to successfully complete your stage 1 of the document. Thank you.